In today's Leeds news, Berardi makes first coaching move, Farke keen to keep trio, Hammond's deal on the cards, Elland Road ownership clarified, January transfer picture, and takeover done, changes coming. Morning folks, Jay here at the View on Wednesday, the 11th of October with your Leeds United news. Hope you're all having a really good week so far. A little bit of stuff, all short bits and pieces, but some interesting information on a few questions that have been flying around online over the last couple of days, and we'll get into that as well. It is Wednesday, so the one a week. If you do like what we're trying to do with the channel here and want to help the channel to grow, you can do so by liking the video and subscribing if you want to. Liking more so even than subscribing right now will be far more beneficial, so really appreciate that. Right, let's crack on and get into this. We'll start off with Gaetano Berardi, and the square ball have all but confirmed this morning that Gaetano Berardi will be moving into his first coaching role. TMG Italia earlier this week had said that Massimo Cellino was keen on bringing Berardi to Brescia and an under-19s assistant coach role. Berardi's made no real secret of his desire to get into coaching. He spoke to the Yorkshire Evening Post last year where he said that he was keen to get involved in coaching at a lower level. He talked about the English pyramid system being a great place for him to learn. He has been guest columnist for the Square Ball as well, and they've said that there is some more information about this move in issue 3 of their magazine, which is coming out soon. But they did say, also was said this morning, that they've confirmed from a reliable source, which you would assume is Berardi himself, that he has accepted the role, and Berardi will be rejoining up with Massimo Cellino at Brescia in an under-19 assistant coach role. So not been confirmed publicly by anybody else, but take Square Ball at their word. And we move on and we'll talk about players in the summer that Daniel Farke was keen to keep hold of, and some reports have come out from The Athletic today in a long piece written by Phil Hay, and one of the articles in it basically points out that before Daniel Farke was confirmed as Leeds manager, he was clear on certain players that he would have liked to stay. According to The Athletic, Leeds had offers from Club Brugge for Pascal Struijk, Burnley for Chris Somerville, and lots of inquiries were rejected by Leeds, and an offer from Celta Vigo for Illan Meslier. Farke was keen to keep these three as part of his team for this season. As it pans out, Chris Somerville has played pretty much every single game, has scored and assisted this season to help Leeds into a very positive playoff position so far. Pascal Struijk has become the go-to captain in place of Liam Cooper or Luke Ayling when they're not in the team, and has done very well in that position as well. And it should also be said, Meslier has now appeared to revert back into a very calm and capable number one again. The confidence issues behind him from last season. So in terms of what Farke wanted to do with these three players, they've been very important to what Leeds have done so far this season, and it's a smart man who's made some smart choices, smarter than me and a lot of other people, so no issues there. But great to see the three players being kept and doing so well this season as well, and becoming the more mature players in the group, even though they're still at a very young age. It's very much a passing of the torch or transition moment at the moment for Leeds. That's what it feels like anyway, with the older players passing this on to the slightly younger players, and Pascal grabbing the armband and doing fantastically well with it. So yeah, really good to see that as well, and good shouts from Daniel Farke. Nick Hammond is the next story to chat about today. There's been a lot of questions around what's the situation with Nick Hammond's contract. He was brought in on a temporary consultation role for one transfer window, but according to Phil Hay, Leeds have been very impressed with Nick Hammond behind the scenes and what he has done in the transfer windows to date. Greta Steinson also very keen on the man as well. Leeds are going through a huge scouting reformation behind the scenes. They've advertised for multiple roles, from technical scouts to international scouts to local scouts. Huge amount of scouting applications have gone out, which would suggest that Leeds are reforming the entire backroom scouting department in the absence of Victor Orta and his connections that he has in the world of football. In the piece, it basically says that Phil Hay says that talks have been going on behind the scenes with Leeds around extending a permanent offer to Nick Hammond for at least the next 2 transfer windows. It would be a huge beneficial thing for Leeds to get in. He's been very good. The signings Leeds have all have made have been sensible, have been clever, have been well thought through, and have all done pretty well so far. We haven't seen all of them just yet, but I'm sure when we do see the likes of Groove and that come into the team, they'll stand out as well. So he did it at Newcastle. He started off at the back, built a very steady back line there when he was in charge of their recruitment for that one window. Put them on a really good path to success over the last couple of years. So, good man to have in the club, and great to see Leeds rewarding what he's done so far with a potential permanent contract as well. Moving on to clarify some other bits, the Elland Road ownership has come in for question as well over the last few days. Companies House did release their set of account reports for last year, which stated that Andrea Radrizzani was still the owner of Elland Road Enterprises, which owns the ground. That's been clarified last night. Another publicly made available document last night showed that Companies House have recognised the transition of the ground from Radrizzani to the 49ers. Also, Angus Kinnear was addressing a supporters advisory board as well, and he said that it's going through the motions at the moment. It takes time to get it done, but it's all done. The counts underlined the movement of the stadium across, but it didn't finalise it. The full transcript of what was said is the following. Post-year end, the company immediate parent Greenfield Investment Pte Limited entered into an agreement to sell 100% of the interest in the company to 49ers Enterprises Global Football LLC in a transition that is due to be completed after the signing of the financial statements. As of the date of signing these financial statements, the ultimate controlling part remains to be Andrea Radrizzani. The transition of the stadium is expected to be shown in the next set of Company House reports, which will probably come next year, as they're always a year behind. So Angus Kinnear has assured everyone there's no issue here. The stadium is moving into 49ers ownership. It's all been signed, sealed and agreed, and it just takes time for the whole thing to go through. But we'll get to that next piece as well, and we'll talk about Angus Kinnear, and we'll talk about the January transfer picture that has been painted during his meeting with the Supporters Advisory Board, or his September meeting at least with the Supporters Advisory Board. In it, Elland Road ownership did come up. He clarified the situation, as we just said, but transfers were the next big topic on the agenda for that meeting. And basically, Kinnear's comments said that loans will form the basis of Leeds' January transfer window. But he did go on to say that funds for investment would be available on players if, for example, big injuries happen and Leeds need to replace key players. But he does believe that Leeds will get more value in the loan market in the long run this January. It should be pointed out as well, Leeds have 2 current vacant loan positions for 2 players they can bring in. It's arguable to say that there's probably not a huge amount of strengthening that's needed right now. Leeds seem to be very strong in depth. You could argue maybe a left back. You could argue maybe a backup number 10 or a full-time number 10 for more depth. But outside of that, it'd be very hard to see who would come out of the team if you're trying to pick your best 11. It's pretty hard at the moment. So it remains to be seen what we do in January. The picture will be much clearer, I'm assuming, once we get closer to that window, because right now it would be hard to pick who you'd bring in and who you'd replace. So it's a tough one. I don't envy Kinnear and Hammond in this window. And then finally, just to bring up to date on a couple of takeover changes, again in the same meeting that Angus Kinnear had with the Supporters Advisory Board, he did confirm that the takeover has been fully and finally completed. And he said what that means is we're going to start seeing some big changes in the coming weeks. He said especially around stadium development and in terms of, I suppose, investment and transfers as well. He went on to say that from a governance standpoint, the club is in a good place with positive investment in funding for stadium and training ground updates, as well as the next transfer window as well. It's all been very quiet and very positive off the pitch, which is great to see for a while. And there's some nice things that got happening there. I'm very keen to see some updates on the stadium development. I saw something yesterday, but I don't know. Have to wait and see if it's follows through. But from what I did see, the new plans for the stadium look fantastic. Actually, they look really, really good. So some very positive things to come, hopefully in the next couple of weeks for Leeds. We'll see more information on that as well. That's going to be it for me today, folks. Thanks very much for watching, liking, subscribing, all the good stuff. Have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. See you then. Great, bye.